Hello everyone, this is K9 aka K.Ilistration as known on my art platforms. Welcome and hope you enjoy watching me draw. Today I will be working on Trunks from the Dragonball franchise. This was something I was requested to do and I will be handing off the artwork when it's completed. If it does well, it will be printed on products, which you can find out more below if you'd like to know about the stuff I've made in the past. But yeah, this was requested, so I haven't drawn a Dragon Ball character in a very long time. I think the last character I drew was Piccolo, and that would have been probably over 5 years ago now, so you know, let's do it. But let's do it for Toriyama sensei, right? Now I did have some reference images, so I'm gonna bring them up on my left screen. I think I'm gonna maybe attempt to do some kind of a full body pose. Okay, maybe I'll open them in Photoshop because then I can manipulate the windows a bit more. Not quite what I meant to do. Here we go. As always, we gotta set up the canvas. So I'm thinking more of a pose similar to the likes of this, something that we can showcase the sword a little bit. I might have the sword, not sure if I want to have the sword drawn out or if I am going to, I'm thinking maybe have the sword drawn out in some fashion, but to do a full body. But I kind of like the, I guess the kind of gritty kind of 90s television kind of shading with this one. So I'll have both of them up just as reference. I know that he's got different hair in both images because his hair does get longer as the show goes on, but I'm just gonna kind of just go by eye, and it doesn't really matter how long his hair ends up. It's gonna be a bit more of interpretation in my style, so it's not gonna be one-to-one. But yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with Akira Toriyama's art style, so don't know how much I'm going to kind of infer from mine and his, but we'll try our best. So first things first, I want to try and map out the sketch, which is just going to be a bunch of stick figures and shapes, but like any good drawing, that's how they begin. I guess deciding the pose as well is going to be he's gonna be very blocky because of the cool jacket he has. But as always, the benefits of drawing digitally is we can resize our sketches when they get a little bit too big for the page. I think his knee is somewhere there, right? It's a bit hard to tell because of the big boots I guess the characters wear. I think that's where the shoe is, right? Hi there, Nightfly, nice to see you. Welcome in. Getting my anime on today. It's a bit tricky trying to map out, I guess because he's wearing boots. I can't really see where his actual feet are. I assume that the foot's here somewhere. We're gonna adjust it later. 45, 42 and slime 1 80%. Fantastic, congratulations. That sounds amazing. I was actually watching a Ratchet 3 speedrun earlier today, and it's crazy that people can beat that game in 20 minutes. I'm more of a casual person myself. So doing Sly 1, which was a very difficult game for me, the first Sly I found very tricky, 45 minutes is fantastic, honestly. Congratulations. See, in the original pose, they've got him kind of reaching out for the sword. I think I want to go for something a bit more like the sword's already drawn out kind of thing. Maybe we can have him kind of holding it like this, and then it's like there, and you got the hand kind of grasping. Maybe I'll move the elbow a bit more. Something like that, and that. Something a bit more like a typical, like, I'm a hero and I have my sword out kind of thing. I don't know, considering I've known Dragon Ball to be more of the type of show where people will do the punching and the kicking, it's very cool to see a character that just has a sword, you know. Oh, I haven't looked yet, Nightfly. I've actually been working a lot, but thanks for reminding me. I was thinking about looking up some stuff probably tomorrow. I have some free time tomorrow, so I can definitely take a look from tomorrow. Yeah, we've just been very busy at my day job, so I've been taking a lot more work and trying to be reliable, help everyone out there. I don't know how long this sword's gonna be, but we're just gonna wing it and say there-ish. I'm curious too, Nightfly. I always want to find out more arcades. I think I've got a contact that's been traveling through Southeast Asia at the moment, and he's brought a lot of arcades from Malaysia and Philippines to my attention. So you never know, you'll always find places where you least suspect. So I reckon that's gonna be the but we might just do another. I just want to map this out first before I get too adventurous with this. In his version of the pose, he's got one hand hiding back here. I don't mind that at all, to be honest. And I think he's supposed to have a sword hilt, right? So there's probably going to be a sword hilt over here. Is that what it's called? A hilt? You know, the holder? Make it a giant sword? Yeah, like Cloud. It's supposed to be Trunks from Dragon Ball, so we'll see. I've never actually drawn like a humanoid character, so to speak, from Dragon Ball. I've only drawn Piccolo about 5 years ago, so I don't have much experience with Toriyama Sensei's art style. And I think I mean, this is gonna be...
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Sometimes you're fine, you're not fine. Yeah! Isn't that relatable? We all feel like that sometimes. I hope the audio levels are okay. I just thought I'll put on some chill lo-fi for you guys. Lo-fi seems pretty popular. I guess this is the kind of the waist area. He got very kind of puffy pants. I like it. It's got some fun clothing folds we're gonna enjoy learning to do. A lot of Dragon Ball characters seem to follow that. You love the rewards? I'm glad, Nightfly. I've been meaning to add new sounds, but I would like to hear suggestions from the viewers. What would you like to see? Any particular game or any kind of quote that you reckon suits what I do? A lot of them have been there since when I played Sonic, so some of them need a bit of an update. I mean, like most Toriyama characters, they've got kind of a big head, like a very cliche anime kind of bigger head. So at the moment, it's just a small circle. So I reckon the ear would be about here, and then that's probably the rest of the head, and then there's going to be a bigger bit, like an extra kind of... I feel like they do this with anime characters sometimes. They draw two circles because their heads are so big they need two circles, and I'm a bit more like a Western style in my drawing that I just draw the one circle for the head, but I guess I need an extra one because he's got a bit of a bulbous head and He's got the parting hair like this kind of thing. I don't know how long I'm gonna make his hair, but I'm just gonna let it go ham and just see how it looks. Maybe they were there, maybe they weren't. I can't remember now. Maybe I rotated them around. I have like a rotation of a good like 40-50 sounds, but you could only fit 20 on the soundboard. So sometimes I just rotate them when I can't think of anything. But I'm always open to more suggestions. This is very, let's see if I can do Trunks justice, hey? I'll try. I'll try. Now we gotta kinda try to see if we can make this look a bit more. I'm gonna angle his face a bit more, because the pose at the moment, his head's kind of stiff. I don't really want him to just be front-facing or anything like that. There we go. Look a bit more like... like that? Oh, there's gonna be a lot of triangles. That's fair, Nofly. You're allowed to have Sly on the mind. I had Jack a lot on the mind the last couple days. Probably because I'll be participating in a tournament this Saturday, and I'll be streaming that. Not to date my VOD too much, but I have been practicing for a racing tournament, so that'll be interesting. I do encourage anyone who wants to watch to tune in. It'll be at a very weird time slot, but it is hosted by someone in Europe, so... In fact, I'll give him a shout out. The event hoster is a cool guy, so... Feel like giving him a follow. Oh, he got the throwaway hairs as well. This is gonna be fun. Gonna play with his hair. That does sound kind of funny, but yes, I will be playing with his hair in a sense, chat. He's even got the throwaway little wispy bits here. Oh, Toriyama. Maybe you weren't the best story writer, but you're a good character designer, that's for sure. What a legend. That's okay. Hello there, Tin. Welcome in. I just started. We're trying to just work out these I guess, shapes. Because, what, I gotta draw a character with pecs? Not something I do every day. But he's also got a cool jacket. What's this from Gen 4 Pokemon? I recognize it. I don't understand how that fold. Okay, that fold is like this, I guess. Oh, and I also forgot he's got like a... that's like the bit that the hilt goes on, so... gotta add that in. I don't know, it's just interesting going a bit of the anime route, and I thought it was very fitting considering last stream we were playing Gartic Phone and people brought up Dragon Ball a lot, and I was trying so hard to keep my mouth shut because I wanted to get today's stream happening without any spoilers. So seeing everybody get in kind of a Dragon Ball mood was very fitting. But yeah, it was cool. Be some interesting clothing folds. I guess, yeah, it passes up like this. Whoa, indeed! Hi, Penguin. Welcome in, my friend. Alright. I know the blue is a little bit distracting at the moment, but it's because I'm using a brown background, and then when I go and tidy it up, it's gonna be proper line art. Plus, we can always do like in color inversion and stuff like that, so it's all good. I might go back and turn this one down a bit more. Just trying to make sense of this before I get too deep in the drawing, then go, this doesn't connect up. It's probably gonna, yeah. This is probably where the sleeve's gonna link up or whatever. Yeah, his design's just pretty well thought out. I'm probably not going to see too much of his belt from this angle that I'm going for, but we've still got to add it in. Got to acknowledge that it's there, you know? All these Dragon Ball characters with nice tucked in pants, you know? They're very well behaved men. They just got to make sure that they're all tucked in and tidy when they fight. There we go. I reckon the pant part will be fine, but I've got to work out the boots a bit, so... Something like that. Interesting pair of boots. Something like that. I think there's gonna have to be some creases here, like that. Something really... yeah, okay. Trying to make sense of this. And then I guess they flare out like that, yep. Yep. This is where you get all the creases because of his knee is there, and then something like that. Alright, it's looking like Trunks. It's looking like Trunks. This is good. Might still have to work on that right foot, this foot, because this is the right of him. Left of the canvas, right foot. We'll have to maybe work on that one a little bit more in the actual line art. And we also got to work on just mapping out the sword. It's a pretty long, Is it called a hilt, or was the other thing called a hilt? I'm a little bit rusty with my, kind of weapons knowledge. But nevertheless, too wide. I think I gotta skinny up his fingers a bit. He's not as bulky as his dad. One, two, three, four. I might have to change the, It's gonna look really weird for a second just because I've made the fingers go all the way up, but it helps you figure out, because you kind of have to think of fingers kind of like sausages, I guess. So this bit's probably like that, and then over here is your thumb. I'm okay with drawing hands, so it's just making sense of it initially is the part that scares everyone, I think. Remember, this is the actual sleeve, so this is where the hand cuts off and the sleeve begins. We still gotta fix the sleeve up here, I think, but fine. Like, another way to think of it is like, these are your knuckles here. Yeah, like so. The other hand's gonna be mostly obscured here, so I'm not too worried. I might just look up a reference image of the sword. Because I do want to add it to my rendition of the image. Okay. It's just your classic kind of hero sword. Oh, nothing too overly extravagant. I guess I was right to draw it like this. And I guess you have an extra line going through just for the swing swing. Yep. Okay. I'm not sure if I've captured the length. I'm not sure on the length of the sword. Maybe we'll make the sword a little longer. It looks like I've made the thing really long, but like even in the reference image, the base, like where he holds it, is pretty long in the reference image. So I might have to extend it. Yeah, just like a couple centimeters. Something like that. It's like swing, swing, we got a shiny sword. There we go. Here we go. Okay. It's not looking too bad, no. But I think I might still need to fix up the arm a little bit. I think it's up here. Kind of sharpen the overall angle of the arm like that. Okay, and then maybe straighten out the sword some more in the actual drawing. Okay. I think the sword's a little bit wonky, but I might grab another layer for that. I think I might lower the angle of the sword a bit. It's trying to keep the sword at angle, which is the troublesome for me for the moment. I think that's more correct. Yeah, there we go. There we go, there's our... I'm just thinking... Accidentally dragged it. Okay. We'll save the project while I'm just thinking a little bit about the pose I've drawn. Because there's other poses I thought about doing that are pretty cool, but they just might be maybe a bit tricky considering it's my first time drawing Trunks. I think this is a good step. go. Gotta make sure to save your work. Just grab a drink. Let's start the liner. That's the part that a lot of you guys like, so picking the brush I'm gonna be content with for the line work though. It's a contender between that one. I'll try this one as well, see what it looks like. That one's also decent. The mech pencil looks kind of inky. Yeah, we're gonna go back and use my 2H brush. 2H. Usually my first instinct is to immediately start on the face because that's the part that I have the most fun doing, but we should probably just get the sword work down. Alright. Yeah, that looks right. Kind of more, it's got like more like kind of diamondy kind of shapes in it, so I'm just trying to work out how much of it you're going to see from this angle. I think most of it's going to look like this. Or maybe, yeah. You're not going to see too much of it, I think. It's like that. Because the perspective of it, I think it's about there. Okay. Drawing on angles is tricky. If this was a physical piece of paper, I'd grab it and just move it with my hands so I could match it and make sure that it's symmetrical, but I know that it's not. I know for a fact it's not. I could also just draw it symmetrically and then just scale it back in the position, but that's one way to do it. Figured out how to use Blender animation. I'm animating while listening. Oh, that sounds awesome, Tim. Yeah, one of these days, if I ever need to do anything 3D, I'll probably go and learn Blender as well, because back when I did university, I did do a unit on 3D modeling. I did like a year of it, and it wasn't my cup of tea. 3D modeling didn't quite gel in my brain the way it did for some other students. But on the other hand, those other students didn't do 2D too well. So we all have our niche, I guess. And we were using Autodesk Maya, which again is not everybody's cup of tea. So if I ever had to go back and do 3D for any kind of project, I'd probably just pick Blender as well. It seems like a really solid program. It's grown so much over the years. A lot of animators are even using it combined with 2D projects now. It's pretty cool. This just doesn't look... this side's fatter than this side. Alright, I'm gonna... The moment I grab this and resize it... Why is it selecting such a huge space? Oh, because my tablet apparently drew a huge line on the bottom there. Classic. Sometimes, you know, Wacom drivers aren't perfect sometimes. You'll let go and it'll just grab itself. It must be detecting a pixel somewhere that I can't see immediately. There we go. I think I'm gonna try and clean this up. Like so. And then once we got it closer to symmetrical, I can actually put it back. Not a bad attempt considering I can't rotate the paper, but there are some little kind of drawing tricks you can do with a pencil. It's kind of like using a ruler, just holding shift down. Of course, your drawing has to be perfectly symmetrical for you to do that, otherwise it'll still look funny. So this may or may not work, but yeah, it won't work, because I've just noticed this line is not symmetrical anyway. I'm gonna eyeball it. Okay. Sometimes using techniques like that makes it too unnatural, for lack of a better word. Yep, that looks way better now. My drawings always end up more sketchy anyway, so I'm not too worried about it being a little bit bumpy looking, because that's just how I roll. But I know that anyone watching might have a different take on how they complete this. You might end up taking this later and then doing another line layer on top and making it all smooth, or throwing it into a program like Adobe Illustrator or Inkscape. Inkscape is another good substitute if you can't afford the subscription of Illustrator. Both of those programs are really good if you want to vector your work. Use it for like logos and stickers and stuff. So if you ever want your drawings to look really, really clean, you can always just draw it and then just throw it into a program like that and then basically redraw over it and clean it up. You can draw in the programs too, but personally I like doing it by hand and then throwing it back in. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do any kind of vector work with this, but I I have done that in the past with some of my drawings of arcade machines and other kind of more mechanical things that I've wanted to look clean on a sticker. I've gone and vectored them after the fact. But with this we're just drawing Trunks because it's Trunks and it's cool. Now that I'm looking at this, I can tidy this up some more. I'll just show chat, this is a good resource. Well, it's a resource I built, but it's from my years of research of different programs and resources that exist out there, so I'm just going to throw this here if anyone wants to check it out. There's just a lot of free software and plugins and stuff that you can use in your projects. And it's majority of it's open source, so you can use it for commercial and personal. There we go. That's a lot tidier now. Should probably twist it back and throw it back into place so Trunks can be holding it again. I still don't know what's causing it to select that far. It's probably something off canvas here. Whoops. Yep, there we go. Whatever it was a loose pixel that was annoying me. So now mine looks a bit short. Okay. That's fine. Just stretch the length of it a bit. Yeah. I'm still not happy with it. Okay, no, bit longer. You were just a little less bit, I'm being a little bit of a perfectionist now, but Trunks is, nevertheless, Trunks is going to hold this sword. You don't really have to go to this extent of detail like I am. You can just kind of just draw a sword and call it a day. But I'm wanting to show you my process now, so might move it down just a bit because that's where the knuckles will hit. Yep. Cool. I'm still gonna have to redo this bit here. I think there's too much lining. Bit dim for the sword blade. There we go. I don't know the proper terminology for the different parts that make up the sword, unfortunately, but I think you can at least visually get the idea of what I'm talking about. Might just keep the sword on a separate line in case I have to do anything else to it later. But yeah, that's our sword. Might just do one thin little line here. There we go. That's our sword. Now we'll need to do just the main line. Okay. Now we can start with, I guess Trunks' hand. Again, usually I just go straight for the head, the body, because like, a lot of the time I get commissioned to do bust portraits and also drawing bust portraits for my own personal use as well. You know, people want profile pictures, so that's why I usually bust portraits, and that's why I'm usually in the habit of drawing the face first, but it's not a bad thing. However you choose to start your drawing. Another good reason to have this on a separate layer is if I need to redo the fingers a couple times. Shouldn't be a problem. So there's your knuckle. And then the little pink, and then this is the pinky up here, so we can afford to make it a bit shorter. I mean, when you tend to grab something, like obviously your fingers are different lengths, but when you tend to grab something, they look consistent, but of course the pink is going to be a bit shorter. And I might redo the thumb as well. I'm not too convinced with the thumb. Okay. Might have some possible tension lines from like grabbing with your hand. I don't know if we'll keep those in, but maybe I can add them in later with the shading, the extra lines. Okay. And then once we color it in, you won't see the sword line going through it, because I'm probably just going to do one big color layer, or at the very least I'll have the main body color layer on top of the sword. So it'll look a little weird for the moment, but it should make sense later. Sometimes drawing is like that. It's like things won't make sense at first, but then once you've worked at it for a couple hours, it'll start to finally make sense. Even just drawing art is kind of telling a story. You're just trying to follow along, and it works out okay in the end. Just like life, really. You go through your pain and your struggles, but you know, you try to think positive, and you'll make it in the end. I'm not the most poetic, but hey. Let's see. Oh, there's that line here. Oh, that's from the sword, is it? Okay, sword layer. Sometimes I just do everything on the one line layer, but this is definitely a special case, I reckon. Alright, now I'm gonna have a bit of fun and go straight to the face. And then we'll be able to just hopefully connect everything up in the body like I usually do. Yeah. Alright, Trunks. You don't have a face yet, but you will. Okay. Just trying to rest my hand for a sec. We're gonna try and keep the Toriyama style eyes. It's definitely very distinctive of the character. But I tend to draw ears and noses a bit differently, so we'll try and combine it a little bit, have a bit of fun with it. He's got a little bit of a kind of snake eyes at the moment, but it'll hopefully look a lot cooler once it's colored in. Let's see. Yeah, so far it's in proportion. It's fine. I'm gonna have to draw pecs on a character. It's not the first time, but it's definitely not something I do every day. It's definitely a Toriyama trait for his male characters to be muscular. In particular with Dragonball, but I guess it's apparent in his other intellectual properties that he's drawn for, you know, like your Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest. Probably to a lesser degree in those games, because usually the characters are younger. But still. There we go. Out of context, this looks a little bit odd, but it'll make sense. It'll make sense. Just want to sharpen it up a little bit. So tell me, future boy, who's the president of the United States? That's a quote from Back to the Future, but I could imagine someone doing that parody with Dragon Ball characters. And then just, yeah. It would make for a funny edit if someone hasn't done it already. guess I'm trying to draw the strap part of what would normally be the sword holder, the sheath. Because I guess the sword goes over his body, but sometimes the sheath is around the belt. There we go. A bit of progress for over an hour's drawing. It's usually like this when you got to plan out a subject that's got a lot of elements to it. I'm too zoomed out, trying to match that. It's shaping up. Slowly, slowly. Gotta chip away at it like a sculptor sometimes. We got his cool jacket forming a shape. Okay, so I've still got the other side of the jacket to work out. You don't really see it too much from the sword because I've changed the pose for my own take. Probably the jacket's gonna cut off about here, I reckon. Classic denim jackets with their cool pockets. I too am also an enjoyer of denim jackets with cool pockets. And I guess these ones are side pockets. Interesting. I know a lot of you are lurking or watching this in the background while you do stuff, so I just want to say thank you. I hope this is somewhat enjoyable or informative, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask below. Let's see. I'm gonna say crops about there because then this bit, so this bit would have gone like that and then stopped about there, but yeah, the sword kind of obscures that for us. Now I just got to draw in the actual shoulder, which is probably about here somewhere. Okay, I think I've gone too far down. Yep. That's where the cuff is. So that's the arm, the other arm, which again is going to be obscured by the fact that it's on his side, and we're going to have the pants and the belt drawn in now. So it's cut off about here, so we'll... Once again, I'll say this, they're very well behaved boys, all having their pants tucked in to their belts. And having the, I guess the strap for the sheath match the belt. It's pretty cool. Some consistency in the design, like that's one thing you've really got to praise Toriyama for. Not just like, this isn't just me being like a diehard fan or anything, because I'm not a diehard fan, but like this is I just got to respect the guy for his using proper design philosophy to make his characters interesting. Even if the writing is always, you know, it was made in the 90s, so even if the 90s writing wasn't for everyone, his designs definitely were. They're cool characters. And I'll be honest, like, writing characters is pretty difficult. But designing them, like, it takes one thing to design a character and another thing to kind of create the world that they're put in. Sometimes projects like this need more hands on deck. Which is why I think modern day Dragon Ball, it's like pretty different now. There's different influences involved in making it what it is today. But again, you gotta appreciate it for what it is. Alright. He has Pent. There's Pants. I'm just gonna have fun, just puffing the pants a little bit. I'm not sure what game this is from, but it sounds like Minecraft, doesn't it? I don't know. Always gotta be some folds from the belt. As a wearer of belts myself, I know that sometimes the way they kind of pinch the top of the waist here. It's always interesting from like a clothing fold study. He's got a pocket here. Probably gonna store some sensu beans in there or something. That's what the characters do, right? I'm a little rusty with my Dragon Ball lore. Yeah, the folds look alright. Now I just gotta do the, I won't do any further because I gotta do the boots, but we've also gotta draw the rest of the jacket, get the arm in. So the cool thing about the jacket design is there's also a target, but it's on the left side of the jacket and you can't see it because the arm is up. Like what's the brand? The Capsule Corp? Because of, yeah. I don't know if you'd be able to see it from the angle that I've drawn it on. I'm probably gonna just omit it for now because I am not too sure on that. If anybody reckons I should add it in, you can let me know. But I think for now I'm just gonna actually omit it from the design because you can't really see it too well from my reference images, and I'm not sure how much of it you'd be able to see from that angle. Maybe like just like maybe just a semicircle worth is what I'd see. Probably something along those lines, and then once I shade it in with the blues and the purples, it's gonna look really cool. Gotta do the pocket on the opposite side. They're kind of like, yeah, that's kind of like the pockets. They're like semi-open because, you know, they're just, there's nothing stored in those zips. They're just like messily open. I get the what they're trying to do in the reference image. Probably not going to see too much of this once I color it black, but just a little bit of a ruffle here from the fact dude's got muscles. Then once I'm done with the liner, I'm gonna thicken the outer part and it's gonna really pop. For now, we're just kind of still a little bit flat, while we're still working on it. I think my boots look okay, but once I draw them, they're hopefully gonna be a bit more uniform. Because in the sketch, I don't have all the details. I just had the general kind of gist of the shoe. I guess it's like what the tongue of the shoe. At least that's what I always called it growing up. The tongue of the shoe. Do the sole of the shoe. Oh, Tsuki, that's you. Thanks so much for following, bud. Hope you're doing well today. For you, it'll be evening. Yeah, good evening to you. It's a bit... I'm just trying to work this out. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And then the other part of the shoe here. And then that's when it kind of folds over like that. And then we got the rest of the foot, which hopefully doesn't look too long. I think I might have made his toes a bit long. We're gonna rectify that. Yeah. Yep, a little bit long. Okay. Around the way it should. Come on. I hope I didn't just make it, maybe I made it a bit funny. It's a bit pointy for my liking. We're gonna fix that. There we go, Trunks has a foot. That's what we want. Every couple of... yep, okay. Every couple of centimeters. You get that kind of shape. It doesn't cramp my hand too much, hopefully. Yes, we got a foot. Never thought I'd be so enthused to be drawing a foot, but there we go. Okay, still got a couple more details on that left boot before we do the one on the right. Usually these kind of poses are a bit tricky. I remember kid me trying to learn how to draw Clank back in the day and having a similar kind of pose with his feet, and having one foot facing forward was like such a tricky pose to do. It was definitely not something a kid could do. There's a little bit of a thingy there, and then this also has the same kind of details as the front of the foot. That one done, I think. Yeah, it's looking pretty clean. So we only got the, I guess, the right boot to do, and the rest of Trunk's head, his head of hair, and yeah, not doing the exact same thing that I usually do with my drawings, which is just start from the head and then go down. I'm trying to do it in a little bit of a different order, because I think it was better to be able to kind of work on some elements a bit differently this time. Because overall, the proportion's pretty good. And yeah, I already mentioned before that this bit around the hand, it looks like it's because the sword's drawn on a different layer. Once I colour it in, you won't have the lines going through his fingers or anything. So at the moment, it looks like he's burnt his fingers on a grill, but that won't be a permanent thing. It's just for now. It will make sense eventually. There we go. Guess once I add the little grooves in, and the foot will bend, and it'll actually look a bit more organic, I'd say. Something the sketch didn't have. Working, but here? Yeah, thanks for that, Electra. I appreciate it. You do your thing. I assume everyone's just jamming out right now, enjoying yourself, so thank you. I tend to watch a lot of content creators whilst I work too. And it's always good to pop in and out and just see how the other person's doing. How far they get and whatnot in the time that you're there. I understand. I'm very thankful. Okay, that's the main foot, and then we gotta do the sole of the shoe. But I want to make sure I get the folds correct.
Yeah, that doesn't match up. I tried to match up the folds, but okay. This doesn't match up. Try and curve around that. Trying to curve this right now is a bit fiddly. There we go.
Okay, that's fine, because it is, again, it is curving folds and whatever and whatnot.
Is that a detail? Did I leave that detail on the other one? No, I didn't. I did do that one. It's because it's a different angle. Yep. It's fine. Just thought I'd double check. Alright. Yeah, cool. Alright, Trunk's got boots. I gotta work on that hair. I got hair game. Try to tidy up my ear a little bit. Yep, my ear looks like that. I think, yeah, Toriyama's characters usually had either really big bulky hair or really, really stringy hair. There's like no in between, especially with Trunks. Like, if I go for the longer hair, you got the long, stringy kind of silver hair that he has. It's pretty cool. I might just go somewhere in between. We'll keep the hair short, but we might make it a little bit longer than the reference image. Just have a bit of fun with his hair, you know? Like semi-long Trunks. Hair is kind of, you know, free and does what it wants sometimes. So I think we want his hair to be a little bit random, but still kind of follow things a little bit. Like, I might make it a bit longer in the back here. Okay, if I take off the sketches. Yeah, there's our Trunks. There's our boy. I like that. I think I'm just gonna work on the hair a little bit more. It looks a little bit bedhead. It does look a little bit like bedheads. We are gonna put a bit more into it, I reckon. Yeah, this bit kind of looks like he woke up on that side of the bed. Maybe I'm just gonna just do this bit differently. A little bit like unyielding, like the guy's traveling between time and space. I don't think he has time to do his hair. Look at a little bit James Team Rocket. Yeah, we are just taking our own spin on it. So I think in my I think I'm going for like the half wispy, like it's growing into the longer hair, but it's not long hair trunks and it's not short hair trunks either. It's like it's starting to grow a bit long. He's been at it for a bit. I think that's a fair way of thinking about it, honestly. I could do the same bulbous head or I could do the other one, but no, I think I'm just gonna do it my own way. Bit different. Now we just gotta add details to his face. Gotta have the angry lines, connect the eyebrows up a bit. How old is Trunks supposed to be when he goes back in time? I actually don't know. I mean, it's probably anime logic. It's probably like 15 or something. I'm not used to drawing hair that, like, bits of hair that parts in the face like that. A little bit. Okay. Now. It's coloring in time, I think. I'm gonna use one of the bigger pencils, and I guess we'll start with the blacks, which I usually just don't go completely jet black for. Something like that, yeah. Actually, we might do the shirt in that color, and then I'll go a tad lighter for the pants. Like that. Yep. For the jacket. Something like that. And a darker one as well. His hair. Kind of got a bit of a purpley hue from his mum. Okay. We need the light, we need kind of the bright teal blue for this part. What else am I adding? Ah, yeah, skin. Give him some skin. He's a bit lighter looking. I think that's too light. Add some skin. Slap some skin on him. See? It's making sense now. Alright. We also need kind of a, like an auburny red, reddy brown color, kind of color. For the sword, handle. I'm just gonna do the skin first. There's actually not too much of it to color in since he wears like long sleeves and everything. It's usually the part I spend ages on. looks so pale at the moment, but bear with me. Wash my hands. Coloring can be pretty relaxing though. Is that? Yeah, that's also from the shirt. Color, color, color. I have a lot of fun doing shading once the base coloring is done. Ooh, I'll make it pop. It also might be fun playing around with filters since, you know, Dragon Ball is from like a 90s animation and whatnot. So having that kind of 90s anime CRT filter sounds like a cool idea. Like, maybe not for the main drawing, but like if I go and put this in a background later for posting online, I think I'm gonna have fun playing around, making it look a bit more vintage, which is always a fun thing to play around with when you try to make something era appropriate. I think I'm gonna color in the belt next, and then we can work on the sword. Because then they won't, hopefully I won't overlap them too much after that. need like a brighter grey. And then a red in the center. I'll part the silver too. Let's get there. Oops. Just lost the image for a sec. There we go. Might color in Trunks' eyes. He's looking a little bit devoid at the moment, so we're gonna put some life back into his expression. And Trunks has a lovely blue eyes. That's pretty cool. Alright, some lovely blue peepers. There we go. Nice. Unfortunately, it's one of those kind of details that some people maybe won't notice in the final drawing, but if you look hard enough, you get to enjoy it. Now, if you're wondering why this eyebrow looks so grey, it's because I didn't colour the section here, because I knew he was going to have matching purple eyebrows. See, he didn't dye his hair, he actually just has silvery purple hair. Now I can finish off this side of the face properly. We gotta colour in the wispy bits, otherwise we might accidentally forget about them. I'm just gonna add them in now. I'll do the rest of the hair colouring in a moment. I want to actually finish off the sword area of the body. But just so we leave a little bit of a checkpoint, so to speak, with this part of the drawing. There you go, like Trunks got the hair bit. Just blob that in, so we know what we're working with. Yeah. We also need a red now. For these two spots. Here we go, that part of the body is there. What? The sword we want... Gotta have a brighter grey for the blade. Maybe I have to do that in a separate layer as well. Just so I don't lose the lines, I guess. The rest of the sword can be on the layer, but might have fun doing a little bit of some sheen. Not the Ultra Lord sheen, but the actual shining metallic effect sheen. Some of you might have appreciated that reference. I have no idea. Anyway. Some way to go about shading the sword. Although I missed a little detail there, so I'm just gonna... Yeah. Getting there, guys. I think we can lock that layer and go back to the normal color layer. Gotta finish the jacket next, and then we'll do the boots. I guess I might as well just do the base color of everything first, and then I can lock transparency, which is I may have shown that to anyone who's watched any of my other VODs and speed paints before. Sometimes it's just best to just get all the bases locked in, and then you can just have fun shading over the top of it. But sometimes you can just do everything sometimes you can just do everything in one go. If you're a bit more used to the traditional way of painting, there's no problem doing it that way either. I think I sometimes use the styles interchangeably, but usually blocking it out is more efficient because it's less destructive if I need to go back and edit something. But either or method gets used by me, to be honest. pretty cool. The blue is very eye-catching. Once we do some shading, it's gonna get a little bit subdued, and it's gonna be really cool. Because all the color scheme's very complementary. Obviously you've got your black, but then you've got your blue and your yellow, which are complementary colors, and it just works really well. It's a cool design. Oh, this blue as well, the teal, is also just very bright. Oh, is this from Pokemon? Oh, the beat started differently. I thought it was gonna maybe turn into that. No, I was right. I was right, there it is. Yeah, it's from Gen 4. Just checking in. Alright, let me show you how we're doing, Nightfly. We're doing some colouring. Getting there. Doing all the base colouring, and then gonna have some swanky shading going on. Trunks is looking like Trunks. I did take my own artistic liberties with his hair, because I didn't want to have bowl cut hair, but also couldn't decide whether to do bowl cut or do long hair, so I thought I'll just do kind of still short hair but longer hair. So he looks a little bit James from Team Rocket, but it's okay. It's my own interpretation. 6 fingers? Where? Did I do 6 fingers? Oh my god, did I? Nobody pointed that out. 1, 2, 3. I did. Thank you. Oh man, I pulled a Jet Set Radio chat. If you ever go look at the original Dreamcast cover art for the first Jet Set Radio, the artist did the same thing. Accidentally drew 6 fingers on Beat's right hand because he's holding the can, and in the early cover art it had 6 fingers as well until they edited it for exported releases. Which finger am I going to eliminate? Because the pinky's doing its job. This one's also doing its job. I'm going to have to eliminate the pinky and then shorten this one a bit. They did it for Sly as well in the first cutscene. Here I go again. No, it's fine. Nightfly, I don't shame you for being passionate about a PS2 franchise. We are more alike than you think. It's okay. I like that you have these facts. I feel that way sometimes when I bring up my interests. When I'm like, oh man, this thing And then it's like, wait a minute, I was trying not to talk about that thing. We're only human. But I don't find it annoying at all. I actually like that I'm learning more about Sly. Like I said, I'll have to play Sly 3 at some point. Okay, we'll get rid of that one. Okay, well this still works out for me because the sword like handle is pretty long anyway, so eliminating a finger won't actually affect the pose of the final product. I'll get there eventually, Nightfly. It is on the list. We'll get through September. There's also one other game I want to play after September. And maybe we can do Sly 3 after that. I've got a bit of a list of games I need to get through. It's alright. Fixing a finger is as easy as 1, 2, 3. If you've practiced hands as much as I have, then it is just a matter of cutting off the pinky a little bit. That might explain why I thought the hand was a bit off before, but then I redid it and I thought, yeah, it's probably fine, but I didn't realize I drew 6 fingers. Just artist things, chat. Happens to the best of them. If you have practiced hands as much as I have, proceeds to draw 6 fingers. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know, there's always those memes of people saying, oh man, drawing hands are so hard. Like, yeah. But replace that meme with like car rims and you've got me. Car rims are my weakness, man. Car rims are my hands. I'll still draw them, but I won't be happy about it. Okay, now there's also some missing shading in the hand, so we're gonna go back and clean it up while I'm still here. There we go. 1, 2. Did I still not completely cut it off? I cut off like half the finger. There's still the rest of it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I need to cut off the rest of it. My bad. Okay. I got a little bit too carried away. So in that case, we'll rub this bit out so we know where we're cutting off. It's like about that. About there. Yeah, I got a little bit carried away. Okay. I trimmed it, I didn't actually cut it off. This is like working in woodwork in shop. This is like working in shop and you accidentally cut a finger off. I don't recommend doing it, chat. It's not good for you. Don't cut off your fingers unless you draw too many on your fictional character. That's the only time it's okay to cut off fingers, okay? Heed my advice. Don't cut off your fingers in real life. But if your character winds up with more fingers than they need to, that's okay. How about fish fingers? Fish fingers are pretty yum. I haven't had fish fingers in a long time. Yeah. So, shorten this finger a little bit, because it's the pinky. We'll want it to give it a little bit, make it a little bit organic. That's okay. We'll look back. I'll look back at this VOD and feel a bit embarrassed, but we're only human. We make mistakes. So if you're ever watching this, just laugh it off and keep going. Honestly, just laugh it off and keep going with the project. Get it done. You can do it. It's a better way to look at it. Come on. My tablet is having a fart. Okay, come on. I think Photoshop's gonna crash. No, please don't. Please don't. Jump cut. Photoshop decided to kind of crash, but I managed to recover the document. Just as a good heads up to anyone who's ever drawing digitally, whether it be Photoshop or any other program, I recommend that you incrementally save your files. So the way I do it is I name the file
underscore AA, so whatever the name of the file is, I do underscore AA, and if it ever crashes and it won't let you save the file, I will save it under a new name. It's still the same name of the project, but instead I change the AA to something else, like AB. You can do any other naming convention you want. You can do 1, 2, 3 if you want. But AA, AB, this is the system I've been using since I was at university when I started drawing more seriously, using digital art more regularly. And this is my helpful tip to anyone watching. Save incrementally. Choose to name your project whatever you want, but having some kind of incremental manual save system can be really helpful, because you can go into Photoshop settings and you could set it to save every 5-10 minutes, and that's great. But not every program has that option, and not every program is reliable with that option. And I've had Adobe crash plenty of times before, so this is my advice to you in whatever program you use. It's just a good way of manually keeping yourself in check. So thank you. I will save my work now, and I will do just as I suggested. So I'll hit save as. I have the same project. Even though it says recovered, I'm gonna just rename it to be AB. So it's Trunks Request AB. That's what I'm calling it. And I'm just gonna save it right next to the original, so I keep them all in the same place. And even if this version crashes and gets corrupted and can't be opened, you can still go back to an older version, and vice versa. So it's just helpful to do that. There we go, at the top it should change the name, and it now says ab.psd. So it's just a copy of the same file, but we've now covered ourselves from it possibly crashing. Sometimes Photoshop has thrown an error on me saying can no longer save document, please save under a new name, and that's why this method works really well. It was meant to be. It was meant to be rescued. Yes. We rescued the document, but see, the recovery document has the extra finger, so we have to go and edit that out again. One of my friends was an art timer, as he calls it, goes off every 20 minutes and then he backs up the drawing. Yep. It's definitely good to back up your drawing. I think mine is set to back up every 15 minutes. But even if you set it to 5, sometimes it's not reliable, and it's just best to do it mentally. Just save as often as you can, and if I ever forget, I mean, there's a command that chat can use to remind me. Or you could just tell me, but I'm sure you guys like hitting reminder buttons and be like, yo, K9, save the work. It's okay. Again, watching from my mistakes, you learn what not to do, and also, when I do make the mistakes, rather than getting embarrassed, it's just good to just laugh it off, teach it as a learning lesson, and move on, and continue. So, I'm trying to have a bit more of a Bob Ross kind of mindset, instead of getting too embarrassed about it. It is what it is. We're here, we're drawing, and we're gonna learn a little bit more each time we do this. And it just helps for, you know, when you go into industry, of course, you aren't always gonna get things right perfect the first time. You need to learn. We don't make mistakes, we make happy accidents. Love that quote. Exactly. It's a very poignantly put by Bob Ross. I probably said it in more words than required, but I have the same sentiment in mind. Yep, so my efforts were a little bit for naught, but that's okay, because we will fix this. I know this isn't the same layer as the sword, but it won't really matter now because we're up to colouring anyway. We're just editing the fingers. And it's all going to get merged in the end anyway when it exports as a JPEG or PNG or TIFF or WebP or whatever file format you choose to use for whatever your project may be. There we go. You have been incrementally saved. Stuff without line art always looks a little bit odd, but yeah. There we go.
Wow, the hand makes so much more sense now. I wonder why. Okay, jokes aside, we're still making great progress. Started first stream event, want to support them. Okay, bye. No worries, Nightfly. If you want drop the name below. I might go raid them later if they're still on afterwards. I wouldn't mind cheering up a brand new streamer. This is the Lon Lon Ranch theme from Ocarina. There we go. Oh, because we crashed, I don't have my reference images loaded anymore, so I'll just reload the one I actually need for the sword, which was this one. Pop him off on the side, just so I can see the colors that I need. Yep. all of those boots in, and then we'll do Trunks' hair. And then the shading will be pretty straightforward after that. Because we'll be able to lock the layers and we can go ham. And after that, I think we'll be pretty much done, because I can do backgrounds and stuff, but I may not do them on stream. We'll see how we go for time. Either way, if you like what you see, I would recommend go check out my social media, because I post these on Instagram and YouTube, and I also stream on this very purple platform. You'll find me all over the place. Get the grey, the silvery grey. Alright. We're coming along. Okay, that's the dark blue for the shading. Which... are we gonna need it? Because I think I might have to do lighter shading on the jacket now. We'll see, we'll see. I think I'll still need it, but then I'll need to do some light shading as well. So that's gonna be... there's more to it. There is more to it. Nice, there we go. Now a really, really light purple to add the sheen in his hair. Typical anime style. We love that. We love it. Some good sheen in the hair. Trunk's got the cool hair now. Now we're up to the part of the drawing I mentioned, which is locking transparency and going ham on that shading. Cool. Very cool. Not to toot my own horn, but shading is pretty satisfying when you see the drawings start to come together. We need an even darker blue for the inner parts of the jacket, the part that you don't get to see. So I'm just gonna do that. Oops, come back. Might be able to throw some extra shade on there in a moment. Cool. Yellow time, do the darker yellow. Surely we're gonna have some up here as well. Very nice, yes. I'm gonna shade you a bit. Yeah. We gotta shade his skin. the lighter part. Cool. Let's lighten it up a wee bit more. Alrighty, Trunks, my boy. You're looking like quite the gentleman now. Alright, the next thing to do is probably just to throw a bit more of a shading layer on top of the jacket, and then I can usually multiply or overlay it just to give it a bit more of a shine. I want a bit more of a shiny jacket. Because it's still a little bit dark. Darker than I planned. And this should add some nice. Oh, yeah, we'll think about it. I might leave it as is, but... experiment with the filters a little bit. Yeah, look at that. That's... it's got the shine we want to it. It actually looks like a puffy denim now. I'd wear something like this now. Oh, ooh. I'm so proud of myself. Okay. Linear dodge might be too bright, or actually it could be good. It could be what we're looking for. Lighter colour. Overlay's a bit too bluey, I reckon. Maybe we'll go with lighter colour, and I think there was a bit that bled over here. Can't see it right now. I want to give it a bit of a noise filter. Just give it a bit of fabric texture, something subtle. Might be a bit too much. Usually about 5. Just make it a little bit denimish. Yeah. Okay. Now the last thing to do is to thicken some layers. Which I can just, what I'll do is I'll just put a layer underneath everything, and I'll just do it as a separate one. Just so I don't have to mess with too much stuff. Because we're working with a lot of layers today. Because I think the drop shadow, I think just a regular drop shadow is not going to be enough. I need to just... thicken these outer layers, make him pop out a bit more like a comic. There we are.
What a bad boy. I mean, in a cool kind of way. He looks so cool. Considering I've never drawn Trunks before, I'm pretty pleased with this. On the blade color, I think the blade color has a little bit of a color bleed, which I thought I got rid of, but there we go. There we go. He's... I guess I'm kind of at a loss for words right now. I'm just trying to focus, chat. But I'm just trying to add a bit more volume, a bit more weight to how he is, how he's standing and stuff like that, so he's not just flat. I probably won't draw a background today. It's probably something I'll do off camera, but the same kind of principle applies. I usually take a bit of inspiration from Bob Ross, you know, just block out my background and try to turn it into something. I've been brainstorming a little bit as I'm doing this, but probably the background I want to try and kind of replicate something from the show, you know, maybe just some kind of rocks and the rocks and the sky kind of thing. So I think in the arc when he shows up, that's kind of where they're hanging out, in just a very rocky kind of area. We'll probably still use a drop shadow, but I reckon just having a regular shadow for Trunks might have more of an effect. I'll show you guys what I mean in a second. Like, kind of like how some video game characters actually get shadows animated for them. Like, the best example I can think of right now is probably Ratchet, because there actually is a little Lombex shadow that's prevalent when you run around and he jumps around and stuff. Some games will just do the little like circle kind of thing, and that's cool too. I think here you'd have to do a little bit of a shadow. Something to kind of indicate that he's there and he's standing and he's doing his thing. I just noticed this color's bleeding here, that's annoying me.
Yeah. Yes, something kind of veering off that way, like so. It's probably not going to be absolutely perfect, but he's got the sword out like this, and it sounded like a pause for effect there, but I just got really fixated on trying to map out the shadow. It might not be absolutely perfect, but I'm just trying to kind of get the general idea that there's a shadow there, and maybe I'll simplify it a bit more because you probably wouldn't see this much of it, but point is you got a blob of trunks here, and I guess, yeah, we'll just shrink it. I think maybe I've given him a bit too much. This is not something I do a lot, but it kind of works for this kind of drawing. You know, he's just heroically standing there. Just want to soften the shadow. Yeah, we don't want it to be too big. I don't want to really detract from the subject, but I just thought it might be nice to include something. And then maybe I'll get a bit of a slight, yeah. So we'll give it a blur, but then also maybe a little bit of a motion blur, just to kind of... Anyway, what I was trying to say was just adding a little bit of a motion blur so we can hopefully... Because it's still looking a little bit stiff in places and I don't like that. I want it to look a bit more natural. I'll turn the opacity of my brush down. I guess we'll just try and work it in manually because the filter's not working quite how I want it to. my brush or my tablet. I think that's as good as I'm gonna get it right now, and we have Trunks. Now that I've turned my opacity down, I might just kind of try and add a bit of maybe backing to his hair. Just a little bit. Okay, that is pretty much done. I'm just gonna sign it, and I might do some more work with it off camera when I upload it online, but we're just gonna, of course, sign our work. It's always very satisfying to know when your work is complete. There we are. I could play around with gradients a bit and do something cool. Just so we have a new background for the time being. There we go. That is Trunks from the Dragon Ball franchise. Trying to draw him for the first time with implementations of my style, whilst also still trying to keep with the Toriyama style as well, trying to combine the two a bit. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. We made a few mistakes along the way, but we have learned from them, and hopefully you guys found this enjoyable and informative. I will be posting this online, and hope you guys like it. So that'll be it for my drawing session today, but I'll probably work on it a little bit more if I feel down the line, because sometimes when you work on something you feel the need to come back to it, and that can even be traced back to the original artists of old, back in the day. Sometimes they spent weeks on a drawing, they'd work on it and they'd come back to it, work on it, come back to it, you know, especially when they were painting oil on canvas kind of thing. I feel like nowadays it's more of a thing of trying to get things done under a deadline and not having the liberty to do that, but sometimes we still will have the liberty to do such things. So I might come back at this and do some more with the background, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So, not a bad Trunks.
Maybe I could do a bit more with the hair next time, but maybe not. I could nitpick at it. Artists, we always do that, but there's always more we could do next time, but I think it's pretty good for a first try, so yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed learning with me. Thanks so much for watching.